Porsche is investing $830 million into something the rest of the world keeps trying to phase out: internal combustion engines. Not just as a legacy move, but as a core part of their future. While many automakers are chasing electric targets, Porsche is pressing the brakes and looking hard at the road ahead. The result? A bold pivot. Because the numbers, the market, and the customers all say one thing: combustion isn't going anywhere. Let's break down why Porsche is doubling down, while everyone else is pulling out. In 2025, Porsche is allocating $830 million to expand its combustion engine and hybrid programs. But this isn't a nostalgic throwback. It's a surgical response to what the market is demanding. This massive investment is going directly into platforms that Porsche knows still matter: the Cayenne, the Panamera, and potentially a return of the ICE Macan. These aren't concept cars. These are core models that customers are still ordering, driving, and loving. Production is ramping up at Porsche's Leipzig plant, which now has the flexibility to manufacture EVs, PHEVs, and ICE vehicles on the same line. That alone signals a clear pivot, not toward electrification alone, but toward adaptability. It's a hedge against overcommitting to a future that isn't arriving as fast as predicted. One of the boldest signs is the K1 project, a new SUV scheduled for 2028. While most automakers would go full EV, Porsche is keeping combustion and hybrid options firmly on the table. The logic is simple: if buyers want performance, longevity, and visceral feel, then Porsche will build for that. The $830 million figure isn't just a headline. It's Porsche putting its money exactly where the driver's foot still wants to go: on the gas. For years, Porsche leaned into electrification with confidence. But in 2024, reality struck hard. Taycan sales fell off a cliff, down 49% year over year, from nearly 40,000 units to just 20,836. That wasn't a market correction. That was a rejection. It didn't stop there. In China, Porsche's largest single market, sales dropped 28%. Local buyers moved to domestic electric options, offering more features at lower prices. It's not that Porsche EVs became worse, it's that competition became overwhelming. Homegrown brands like BYD and Xiaomi started dominating, and Porsche's sleek badges weren't enough to justify the price gap. The new electric Macan, intended to lead Porsche's next EV chapter, sold just 18,278 units. Meanwhile, the older ICE Macan racked up 64,517 sales in the same period. That's over 3 times the volume from a car due for replacement. Porsche's total global deliveries dipped 3% in 2024, finishing at 310,718 units. It's not catastrophic, but it shattered the EV momentum narrative. These numbers aren't just blips, they're part of a pattern, one that shows the EV revolution isn't sweeping across Porsche's customer base as expected. And that's why combustion isn't being replaced, it's being reinforced. If the electric Macan flopped this hard, is the EV hype cracking? Let me know what you think, and if you're into real numbers, hit subscribe. This gets better. While the EV spotlight dimmed, Porsche's combustion lineup quietly reclaimed ground. One of the clearest signals? A 10% sales increase in the 718 series, Boxster and Cayman, both entirely powered by internal combustion. No hybrid assist, no electric fallback, just pure analog performance. This happened at the same time electric models like the Taycan and Macan EV were falling behind expectations. That contrast isn't subtle. It proves buyers are voting with their money and they're voting for gas. The trend is just as strong in the used market. Entry-level models like the 996 generation 911 and first-gen Cayman 987.1 have surged in demand. Prices now hover around $30,000 to $40,000, and they've been climbing steadily. Since 2020, 911 values overall are up by 20%. That's appreciation in a world where most cars, especially EVs, lose 30% of value the moment they leave the showroom. It's not just collectors making these purchases, it's enthusiasts, first-time buyers, and people who simply want a car that feels alive. Combustion engines may no longer dominate industry projections, but they're still dominating garages. While the headlines say electric is the future, Porsche's sales data suggests something else. ICE is still very much in the present, and outperforming expectations. Performance isn't just measured in speed, it's measured in sensation. That's why internal combustion engines still dominate the Porsche experience, and more importantly, Porsche buyer preferences. Over half of Porsche buyers, 52%, still prefer manual transmissions. Not paddle shifters, not one-pedal driving, manual. That's a clear rejection of the push toward automated electric driving. It reflects a desire for control, feedback, and involvement. Things EVs struggle to replicate. When asked what matters most, 65% of Porsche buyers prioritize performance, not range, not connectivity, pure mechanical excellence. Cost comes in second, with 43% highlighting affordability and long-term ownership costs as key concerns. What's driving this loyalty to gas-powered models isn't just emotion. It's that combustion cars still deliver what Porsche was built to offer: excitement, engineering purity, and the sound of something alive under the hood. That's not a gimmick, it's an identity. While the industry races to digitize every part of the driving experience, Porsche's customer base is holding firm. They're not begging for change, they're asking for refinement. And Porsche is listening. That's why combustion is still in the blueprint, not as a fallback, but as a deliberate commitment to the driving experience that made Porsche a legend in the first place. There's a common belief that owning an internal combustion Porsche means signing up for endless repair bills, but the actual numbers tell a more balanced story, one that's a lot more forgiving than many assume. Take the 911 Carrera. Annual maintenance typically ranges between $1,500 and $2,500. Oil changes every 5,000 miles cost around $300. Brake service at 30,000 miles runs about $1,200, and tires every 20,000 miles adds another $1,200. These aren't pocket change figures, but they're far from exotic car nightmares. The Cayenne V8, a heavier, more complex SUV, still manages to stay in the $2,000 to $3,500 yearly range. Even major parts like a water pump, $900, or transfer case, $2,000, don't appear until well past 60,000 miles. Many owners report hitting 200,000 miles with about $15,000 in total maintenance, roughly the cost of a mid-tier family car. Even plug-in hybrids like the Panamera Turbo S e-Hybrid hold up well. One owner spent just $2,000 per year, and the car actually gained $10,000 in value since 2020. That's rare. In an age where EV diagnostics can require full module replacements, Porsche's combustion and hybrid platforms still offer transparency, predictability, and long-term durability. That matters more than ever. Now, ever owned a Porsche, or at least thought about it? What's your biggest worry? Cost, reliability, or something else? Drop it in the comments. And if this is changing how you see ICE ownership, hit like. Modern EVs are fast, sometimes blisteringly so, but straight-line speed isn't what built Porsche's reputation. It's how the car feels when you throw it into a corner, how it responds to every input, and how it connects you to the road. That's something electric powertrains still struggle to deliver. Take the 2024 911 GTS. It produces 450 horsepower from a flat-six engine, accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, and offers perfect balance thanks to its rear engine layout. With a rear weight bias of 960 kilograms and grip measured at 1.0 G, it isn't just engineered, it's dialed in. Every shift, every vibration, every sound contributes to the driving experience. The Cayenne GTS, a 460 horsepower V8 SUV, blends raw power with refined handling. It grips like a sports car and roars like a muscle machine. It proves utility and excitement don't have to be mutually exclusive. Then there's the Panamera Turbo S e-Hybrid, combining electric boost and combustion strength to deliver a combined 680 horsepower. Yet, it still feels like a Porsche. These machines aren't about efficiency, they're about emotion. And for drivers who still care about how a car feels, combustion isn't just relevant, it's essential. In 2025, imported electric vehicles were hit with a 25% tariff in the United States, a move that instantly shifted the cost landscape. For many Porsche EVs, that added $5,000 to $10,000 directly to the sticker price. Suddenly, combustion models started to look a lot more attractive, not because they changed, but because the economics did. Porsche's ability to manufacture ICE, hybrid, and electric models on a single production line now gives it a serious competitive edge. They can shift output based on regional laws, tax structures, or customer demand without a full redesign. That kind of manufacturing flexibility isn't common, and it's going to matter more as regulation becomes fragmented across markets. The tariff impact is just one example of how external forces are driving Porsche's combustion comeback. Buyers facing higher EV prices and limited charging infrastructure are reevaluating what future-proof really means. And with combustion models continuing to retain their value better, especially high-demand trims like the 911, Cayenne GTS, and Panamera hybrids, Porsche is positioned to offer performance and financial predictability in a way few EVs can match. It's not about fighting the future, it's about recognizing where customers are now. And right now, many of them want ICE. Now, a question for you. If performance and price both matter, is ICE still the smarter buy in 2025? Think about it, then tell us what you'd pick. Porsche isn't rejecting electrification, they're rethinking how to get there. Instead of betting everything on batteries, they're investing in synthetic e-fuels and performance-focused hybrids that keep the driving experience alive while reducing emissions. Their investment in e-fuels, over $100 million, isn't symbolic. It's part of a broader strategy to offer carbon-neutral combustion options, especially in regions where EV infrastructure is limited or long-distance driving remains the norm. E-fuels can power traditional engines with significantly reduced environmental impact, potentially bypassing looming combustion bans without forcing buyers into electric-only options. Plug-in hybrids are also central to this plan. Models like the Panamera and Cayenne PHEVs blend high-performance gas engines with electric driving for city driving. They satisfy emissions regulations without sacrificing speed, sound, or engagement. For many buyers, that's the best of both worlds. This multi-path approach makes Porsche more resilient than most competitors. If EV adoption slows, they're covered. If regulations tighten, they've got compliant hybrids. If synthetic fuels scale up, their combustion engines can run clean without reinvention. By keeping all doors open, gas, hybrid, electric, and synthetic, Porsche isn't stuck in the past. They're future-proofing their brand without abandoning the identity that built it. Porsche's $830 million combustion comeback isn't about resisting change, it's about refusing to follow trends blindly. While others gamble everything on electric, Porsche is building a diversified strategy based on real buyer behavior, real market data, and real driving passion. They're not abandoning EVs, but they're also not abandoning what makes a Porsche. Sales data showed it. Enthusiasts confirmed it. Combustion still has a future. Not because it's traditional, but because it still delivers what performance drivers want. Taycan sales collapsed. ICE Macan tripled the numbers of its electric successor. The 718 rose when EV demand shrank. Pre-owned 911s are gaining value, not losing it. Meanwhile, e-fuels and PHEVs are bridging performance and sustainability in a way batteries alone can't. Porsche isn't just keeping options open, they're staying in control. And in 2025, that means betting big on what works, not just what's popular. If you still believe the roar of a flat six matters, Porsche just proved you're not alone. Hit the like button if you're glad combustion isn't dead. Subscribe if you want more no-nonsense breakdowns about cars that still make you feel something. And in the comments, let us know if you had $150K today, are you going Taycan or 911? Because this story isn't over, it's just warming up.